What's up, everyone? This is Devin, and we're back for Sports Talk, our betting show. We got the NFL edition. We're going to start doing this probably Thursday or Friday type of deal, so that way it probably won't come out till Sundays or Saturdays, something like that. So we'll see. We'll probably start missing the Thursday night game. So, like last night was Baltimore Ravens versus Tampa Bay. I had on my sheet before if we were going to do this Wednesday that I was going to take Baltimore to -1.5, and then the over under at 45. I was taking under because I didn't think they were going to score, but I think they did get over that. I can't remember for sure.
Yeah, it was 27-22.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's funny because the line actually switched to Baltimore was the favorite or the underdog.
At one point, yeah.
So it was plus 100 money line for Ravens, and everybody should have hammered that.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised how Bucks did because I mean they still lost, but it definitely looked better than they did the week prior.
Yeah, I mean the Ravens are they just keep every game close, which is weird.
They never blow a team out of the water, really.
No, and I mean they had a few injuries. I mean obviously Dobbins was out, so they had 3 different running backs.
Yeah,
4 counting Lamar.
Yep.
Lamar did not throw the ball well, but Mark Andrews got hurt in the first quarter, so they still got the job done, though.
So we're jumping into games for this weekend. We got Sunday at 9:30, so I'm guessing it's over in London. Broncos versus the Jags. Right now, Jags are favorited by 2.5. I kind of like that line. 2.5. I think the Jags have screwed me a few times. So, and then the over/under sitting at 40. I don't see these teams don't really normally score a ton of points. So I kind of leaning towards the under.
Yeah, they both have pretty good defenses. I'm curious to see if Russell Wilson sitting out was helpful, just because every week they had a new thing on how he was injured and he shouldn't be playing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he finally sit out a week, and we'll see if that helped at all. But I don't know. I mean, I really like the Jags. They seem to be playing pretty consistent in a way. I mean, obviously they had that, 2 weeks ago they lost to the Texans.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they just traded James Robinson to the Jets. So, not that he split reps with, what's his face, but.
Yeah. No, and I might just to be on the safe side because, like I said, I'm kind of leaning into taking the under because these teams don't normally score a ton of, teasing it, too. So that way it's under 46.5. And then even take Jags to plus, plus 4.5, something like that. So I think I'd feel even better with that. So I might do something like that just to help me a little bit. But I wouldn't blame you for taking the -2.5.
Yeah, I like the -2.5. I just don't know. The Broncos are just weird. So
yeah,
I'm gonna stay away from over/under.
All right, jumping into 1 o'clock games. We got Patriots versus the Jets. Right now, Patriots are favored 2.5. Is Mac Jones, did he play last week or no?
He came in, played 2 series. He had a pick, played terrible, so they threw Zappe in. And he, first 2 drives, I think he had scoring a touchdown drive and a field goal drive. And then he stayed in pretty much the rest of the game. He ended up throwing 4 interceptions. So they're kind of in a weird QB situation, and I believe Mac Jones will probably get the start and probably play the whole game because Belichick doesn't really like doing this whole 2 QB thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's never had to, I guess I should say. So I think he'll pick Mac Jones and just stick with him no matter what he does.
Yeah. Now, Jets have Wilson back, right? He's been playing for them or no?
Garrett Wilson?
No, their quarterback. Didn't they have?
Oh, yeah.
Zach Wilson or
Zach
what?
Wilson, yeah. I think he's been playing. He's not playing the greatest, but not the worst. I mean, they've been winning games.
Yeah.
Did
he come back against Green Bay or did he come back against Denver?
He's been back for 3 weeks now.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Because Flacco still has better stats than him.
Well, Flacco played well the first few weeks. Yeah. Zach Wilson's not really doing much, but he's winning games.
Yeah, because
But-
like last week it was a 16-9 win over the Broncos.
Yeah, they're just I don't know. They're kind of have a lot of stuff going on. Obviously Brees Hall, one of the best running backs of the year so far, out for the season. They just picked up James Robinson from, which I think is a good back from the Jaguars.
I would think so.
And one of the receivers or something, I think it's Elijah Moore, is going through something. He doesn't really want to play for him, so I think he might be sitting or something. I don't know what the exact situation is, but their locker room may be a little interesting. But even with all that, I still kind of surprised this line.
Yeah.
The Patriots had one good game against the Lions. That's about it.
And Cleveland.
Early though, right?
No, that was the week after the Lions. They beat Lions 29-0, and then they beat Cleveland 38-15.
That's right, because
They had the overtime loss to Green Bay, and then they lost by 11 to Baltimore. Then last week they got blown out by the Bears, which is not a good team. So
not good.
I definitely am on the side of Jets here.
I like their money line
Yeah,
for
Yep.
sure, and I like. It's crazy to say I like the over. I mean, it's maybe not crazy to say, but
I don't know. With
I know
last
it's-
week,
I know it's
Jets only
scary.
putting 16, and Patriots only putting up 14.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll just stay away from that. But I definitely like the money line for the Jets.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think that's the most sense. I mean, if you want the comfort zone of 2.5 points, but I at this point you might as well take a plus 115. Steelers versus Eagles. Eagles right now are 10.5 point favorites. I mean, they've been one of the most dominant teams in the NFL so far, but at the same time, I'm 10.5.
A lot of points. I mean, when does the Eagles kind of have a bad game? You know, it has to be coming soon,
Yeah,
and it just feels like this. Maybe I don't think they're gonna lose, but I think this is a week where it's gonna be really, really close, and it maybe really test the Eagles to see what they are. Maybe down late in the game, and they have to have a winning drive or something like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely would take Steelers plus 10.5, even though they played the Dolphins tight last week, but they still looked horrible.
yeah.
And
Tua came back in that game, so you didn't know how he was really good. If he was rusty or not. And I know we'll probably talk more about Dolphins, but did you see the play where he went running and took the hit?
yeah,
It's like, dude, you gotta get down. You've already had 2
well, it's
concussions.
funny because the announcers right before that was saying like, "Oh yeah, we talked to Tua," and he's like, "Oh, I'm finally kind of learning." He's like, "I'm just gonna go out of bounds. I'm just gonna throw the ball away. I'm gonna get down. I'm not gonna take any hits." And then literally like 3 plays later, he got smoked. It was funny.
He's just, to me, he's just not big enough to be able to do that. Like continue to take hits. He's gonna hurt himself.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we're both on kind of a lot of points. I mean, are you just kind of staying away type of deal, or?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bank on this too hard. If I had to throw money, I'll take the 10.5 for sure for
Yeah.
the Steelers. And I more lean the over out of anything on this, just because I could see the Eagles putting up a decent amount of points, and I think it's gonna be a close game. So Steelers are just gonna keep right up with them.
Yeah, I mean, Steelers have been allowing 23 points, and Eagles been scoring about 26. So yeah, I see Eagles putting close, probably like a 27 to like 17 or something. It's kind of what you're going to see. Maybe 2 touchdowns out of the Steelers somehow in a field goal also, and then 27 points there. So yeah, I see this being 45 points or so scored. So yeah, I would be on the over side of things as well. Bears versus Cowboys. Cowboys are 10-point favorites in this. Now, I'm kind of surprised with the Bears just smacking down.
Bears look good.
Yeah, they didn't look too bad.
Justin Fields looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And again, 10 points, a lot of points in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the Cowboys just kind of smoked the Lions, but
what is the Lions right now?
Well,
They can't play well on both sides of the ball. It's either defense is playing good or offense is playing good. They can't put together.
right.
They can't put together both sides of the ball, and they can't put together 4 quarters either. I mean,
No. But I mean, maybe they just
I almost think there's a little bit of overhype from Dallas with what they did, because I mean, the Lions did fairly well on keeping Dallas from scoring a ton.
a lot of turnovers. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really struggled. But
So
and the Bears did look good, and I've not been high on the Bears this season, but I've been kind of a believer, one of the only believers in the Bears to be okay. I'm not saying they're going to be anything special. I've been backing Justin Fields up ever since he's been in the league, and it's good to finally see him play good. Now it's just, is he going to be consistent or not?
yeah.
And
Yep. I just think this line's a little bit of too much hype on Dak being back type of deal and them getting the win last weekend.
yeah, for sure.
And so,
Hammering the plus 10 here.
yeah.
I ain't going crazy like I did last week with the money line, but I'm going to just take the plus 10, and I'm going to
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying that Dallas won't win. I definitely think Dallas can win this game. And, I put them to win more than the Bears, but I just don't see it being a 10-point win. I see it at the highest, a touchdown.
Yeah, and I don't know about the over-under. I'll probably...
Yeah, I don't have a good feeling either way because I've seen Bears put up a decent amount of points. I've seen them not put up anything. So I think I'm just going to stay away. Dak should be. Hopefully Dallas is back on a roll, and they could get the points, but I just don't know if they will or not.
Yeah.
So next we got Miami Dolphins versus the Lions. Lions are 3.5-point favorites.
Underdogs.
Underdogs. 3.5 underdogs. Dolphins, now that they have Tua back, I mean, are they back to the same Dolphins? Or
I don't know. They struggled a little bit against...
Well, is that some
The
jitters? I
Steelers.
mean, kind of like Dak, too.
I thought Tua looked good, personally. I just think the defense kind of struggled a little bit, especially late in the game. And they just didn't look as sound as they were early on in the season, which obviously they haven't played as a healthy team since like week 2.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think their 3 losses have come from when Tua was out.
yeah. So I think they look pretty good. They look pretty consistent, and we all know the Lions. So
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not a lot of points for this game.
no. So if I'm taking something that's 3.5 Dolphins, but at the same time, I don't bet Lions games anymore. I start every year, and it just never works out for me.
But I'm hammering the 3.5 for Dolphins, like you said last week. Bet against the Lions. If you win your money, cool. If the Lions win, cool.
Yeah. Still on 1:00 games, we got Arizona Cardinals versus Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. Vikings have been kind of on a roll.
Vikings are good. They're probably the 3rd to 4th best team in the NFL, in my opinion.
And Cardinals, they did get a win over the Saints, but they lost to Seattle. Then they lost a close one to Philly, but I don't know. They haven't quite put together a full team.
Yeah, well, D-Hop being back really helped him. I mean,
Yes.
he had like 120 yards received in his first game back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very rare for a receiver not to take any step backwards from. Granted, he wasn't out with an injury; he was out on suspension.
Mm-hmm.
But he is that's just huge help for Kyler Murray and in that offense. Kyler Murray's been struggling, so
Yeah.
I think that gives him a little bit of confidence.
Well, you look, there's been a lot of quarterbacks that's been kind of struggling inside, but I think it's to do with a lot with offensive linemen have been getting hurt like crazy this year.
Yeah, a lot of
like if you look at most teams have at least one starting lineman out, if not 2 or 3. Because I think that's like Bucks. I think they have 3 starting linemen out right now. Oh, and then it's just
same with the Niners.
yeah. There's a few teams that are like that, and it's like that's when a good quarterback like Mahomes, because I think they still have 1 or 2 guys out.
Yeah,
And he's still making plays. Josh Allen, I think they have at least 1 guy out, and they're still making plays. So it just shows you how important having a good line is in the NFL.
those guys don't get enough credit. I mean,
No. Well, definitely because look at the pass rushers now. The end rushers that come in are insane.
Aaron Donald,
Yeah.
Myles Garrett,
Yeah.
Bosa's, Watts.
That's probably one of the highest positions. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson coming in the league, what he's already doing, it's just insane.
The
So
list just goes. I mean, there's at least one insane pass rusher on each team almost.
uh,
It's And how do you stop it? And
Yeah.
offensive linemen don't get any credit from nobody. And
No.
T-
They probably take the most beating out of anyone.
Oh, yeah. I think it's funny because I don't know if you ever watched Travis Kelce, and Jason Kelce does a podcast now.
Yeah.
It's the greatest podcast ever. They're like breaking records. But basically, they talk about this all the time, how every practice they're full on, like basically pads, one-on-ones, and all practice long while everybody else is just lollygagging. It's just funny. You should listen to them.
Your team now, Carolina Panthers versus the Falcons. Falcons are 4.5-point favorites in this one.
What were you taking in that game?
Oh, in the game before?
Yeah.
With
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Touching over under at all?
Nope.
Yeah, no, too high for me.
Yep.
Carolina Panthers versus Falcons. Falcons are favored by 4.5. I just don't trust your Panthers enough, but Falcons ain't very good either.
You want to know what's crazy, though? This game right here is for the division leader. Whoever wins this is leading the division. So it's crazy that a 2-4 Panthers team, or 2-5 Panthers, sorry, and a 3-4 Atlanta's to lead the division.
Has Atlanta and Bucks played yet?
I believe so.
And
Carolina's only 2 wins are from the division, and the Bucks only has 3 wins as well. So, not that they just lost. So that's why if Carolina wins,
yes, Atlanta lost to. I'm surprised,
but they'll have 4. If Atlanta wins, they'll have 4 wins. So that puts them ahead.
Well, yeah, right now they're up ahead at 3-4 because Tampa was 3-5.
Yeah. So the winner of this, and it's just crazy that Carolina's even in this question after the craziest season for Carolina. Week 4, they fire their coach. They get rid of their defensive coordinator, whose their defense is playing well. They have every corner and secondary out that you could think of.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield got hurt, which he was playing horrible. And P.J. Walker comes in and plays well last week.
Yeah.
And smacked on the Bucks, actually. So it's crazy. I don't know. I'm going to stay away just as a fan. But if I had to go, I'm going Carolina here just because, I don't know.
They have a lot to play for, I guess. So
Yeah.
I would kind of lean towards taking the plus point. I would almost look at money line on this just because they have a lot to do.
Me as well.
Because realistic, what would be really crazy is a next game that we're going to talk is Vegas versus Saints. If Saints can pull this off, every team in that division then is going to be 3-5.
Yeah.
That'd be insane.
If Carolina wins as well.
Yeah, if Carolina wins.
Carolina still be 2-0, 3-0 in the division. So, because they're only 2 wins are from the division games.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not really talked about as much in the NFL of like how the locker room is and but things are rallying so much in Carolina just with everything going on. Like this group is tighter than probably any other NFL team.
Yeah.
Like they love their new interim head coach, Wilkins. They love P.J. Walker right now as a starter. And they're just playing like a college team that just love each other.
Yeah, I think that
goes a long way.
Yeah, the locker room is a huge piece in the NFL because you're not going to tell players what to do in the NFL. I mean,
right?
They're going to do their own work type of deal. If they're clicking in the locker room, they're going to play well together on the field, is my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not like college where everyone's trying to do their job to get to the next level. They're going to focus on doing what they need to do, so that way they look good on film when someone's watching them, type of deal. They're not going out of their ways to make a bunch of plays necessarily. They're going to do their job so it looks good on film. Where NFL, they might try to make a play or two, if they're not clicking in the locker room and not want to win again. If they're trying to showboat themselves, I guess.
Right.
So, Vegas and Saints. Vegas is right now favored by 1 point. Again, this kind of is a lot for the Saints to do.
The thing with the Saints is they're kind of in a interesting. I mean, so is a lot of other teams, but they're in a QB situation as well.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston can play, but I've heard they're still going to keep Andy Dalton playing. I don't really know why. I mean, Jameis can still play well. He played well the first 2 games, and I don't know. I don't know what the heck. Michael Thomas is out again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hurtful. Their defense has been struggling all season, and the Raiders' offense, it has to click eventually, right?
I would think so.
So, I don't know. I like the -1 Raiders. I don't think the Saints have it in them.
Yeah. And Raiders have a lot of questionable players, but I think most of them will play. Looking at the list, Devontae Adams, DJ Turner. They have a few Waller for tight end. So offensively, like receiving core basically, and tight end. I mean, that's if for some reason those guys don't play, I would see this way better chance for Saints, but I think most of them will. I don't know. I think I really want to take money line on Saints here.
I don't know.
It's supposed to be at Saints too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take Saints money line on this one.
I'm just going -1 for maybe even just take a money line for Raiders because it's not a big difference.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the over. I'll probably stay away, but I like the over.
Yeah, it seems a little high.
It's a little high, but I mean, these teams ideally can score. Not that they do it every week, but what to see? I don't know.
Yeah. And both do put up over 25 points each, so. 4 o'clock game starting at Tennessee Titans versus Houston Texans. Titans are favored by 3 points. And over-under sitting at 40.5. I mean, my brain tells me to take Tennessee just because Houston sucks, but are they going to get a few more wins?
My thing is, I don't know. Is it true that what's his face is out?
The quarterback?
Yeah,
Tannehill?
Tannehill. Geez, I don't know why.
He's questionable. Let's see.
Because I see on fantasy, Malik Willis he's projected like 12 points. So I'm like, what the heck? So Tannehill may be out, which is going to be huge for them.
So as of 5 hours ago, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel said Tannehill ankle won't practice Friday and will be listed as questionable on Sunday's game in Houston.
So there's a good chance he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So that changes that line quite a bit. Nothing against Malik Willis. I think he has a lot of potential, but still too early for him.
And it's almost one of those things is, Tannehill may start, but then get pulled. It could be why that's a 12-point, on fantasy side of things. So,
but I mean, this just gives more reason to give Derrick Henry the ball, and he's been ever since week 2. He's been in fantasy points. He averages like 30 fantasy points or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just if Derrick Henry gets going, Texans doesn't have a run defense. They really don't have any defense. So there's just not even with Malik Willis. I think Titans will probably pull it off. I don't know if I'm going to actually bet on it myself. Probably won't. But if I had to, I'd take the -3 for the Titans.
Yeah. I think that's where I'd go too. I mean, I just don't see, even with Tannehill out, I don't see Texans winning this game. But, I mean, I feel like they're going to get a few more wins this season, but I just don't see this being one of them.
No.
I'd have to look at their schedule, just kind of look and see who could they beat. But, yeah, so I'm with you, -3. I'm probably staying away from over-under just because these teams never know how much they're going to put up.
Never know.
425 game is Giants versus Seahawks. I'm surprised Seahawks is favored on this one.
The Giants, I'm going to look it up real quick because the Giants have been underdogs in like half of the games this year. And they're 6-1. It blows my mind. Let me go to stats here. They're 6-1 against the spread.
Yeah.
And they're 6-1. I mean, when is it going to become that they're an elite team in the NFL? Like, I mean, obviously every single game. I mean,
they
close,
have
like very close.
Yeah, but
and maybe not have played the strongest teams, but I mean, are you saying that a 4-3 Seahawks team is an elite team? I don't. So, I mean, yeah, Geno Smith and that offense is rolling, but their defense is horrible. So, and the Giants' defense is flying around. So I think it's going to kind of the Seahawks' first test against a decent defense.
Yeah, because when they played like Detroit, being able to put up 48, I mean, and they put up 32. I guess Arizona did hold them to 19, but that was the only time their defense actually did something and held Arizona to only 9. But, I mean, their defense is giving up about 26 points a game on average. So, I definitely see Giants getting this one. I would take money line all day.
Yeah, me as well. I just don't get the line that I know of. There's nobody hurt, at least anybody that's going to make a huge impact.
Yeah.
So, As long as Saquon's healthy, that team has a chance to win.
I think so too. Let's just go a quick look to see if there's any major concerns.
Daniel Jones is finally, he's one of the few QBs that's actually executing.
Receiving core, both Metcalf and Lockett are both questionable. Now, both will probably more than likely play.
I think Metcalf is out. I'm going to be out.
Oh, you think so?
He may be out for like 3-4 weeks, I'm pretty sure.
We still have him listed as questionable.
Because he's still, last I read, he
He returned to limited practice today. Is considered a game-time decision for Sunday's matchup against the Giants.
Okay. Yeah, last I read, he was just getting other opinions.
Still 4 o'clock game is Commanders versus the Colts. I'm kind of surprised. Both of these teams not very good, but I almost put Washington, unless there's some injuries I don't know about.
Carson Wentz just got benched finally for the year, or not for the year, but for that last game.
Yeah,
and the Commanders beat the Packers, but obviously the Packers suck. So it's like, what kind of win is that? And the Colts have been struggling all year, so I like the Commanders here, to be honest. Heineke he just seems like one of those guys that just like win. He's like a Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Or like a true backup that can just win games.
That's kind of where I go. I would take probably money line on this as well.
Yeah, me too.
A few money line games this week.
This is a tough week, actually.
Yeah, because it could not turn out at all, but...
And the Colts it's been horrible. They actually, pretty big for the Colts this week. They benched Matt Ryan. Probably the first time in Matt Ryan's career he's been benched.
Yeah,
this is was it Sam Eisenhower or whatever from Texas, the guy who played like 8 years at Texas. It feels like. Pretty excited to see what he can do, but I don't know. That's no experience on a struggling team going against a not good Commanders, but I think Commanders can take this all day. I'm really surprised with this line.
Yeah, me too. No, and like I said, I'm taking money line and staying away from over under because I don't know what these teams are going to put up, but it's pretty low, so I'd probably look more towards under. So, and then last 4 o'clock game is 49ers versus the Rams. Right now, 49ers are a 1-point favorite.
Big news with this one, Deebo Samuel's out. But we haven't talked about it since it happened, but they got CMC.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did maybe cry a little bit. Very sad day for me. But it was the best for both sides. It was best for the 49ers, best for Carolina, best for CMC. So it was a really sad day, but CMC should be kind of a full-time, full workload this week is kind of what I'm hearing. Everybody's telling him to start him this week in fantasy instead of sit him. So with Deebo being out and CMC kind of being closer to full.
And, look at what he did last week for the few carries he did have. He was, and he doesn't know the offense, when they ask Garoppolo, are you worried about him, not understanding the offense? He goes, no, I'll just tell him what to do in the huddle. Well, and, he'll know what to do. Yeah. He'll make plays.
But, it's unfortunate Deebo's out because when these two are fully healthy, this could potentially be the best offense in the league.
Yeah.
You have a running back, a receiver that can play running back. You have a running back can play slot all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be unbelievable. And Garoppolo's probably in the best situation of his life to maybe save a few more years on his career.
Yeah.
Because he has all these. He still has Ayuk, who's really good. They have Kittle. Their offense is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
When their defense gets healthy, it's just. The Niners are just going all in, which they should. And that being said, though, I don't know if they're going to pull this game off. The Rams have been struggling, and you just think they got Von Jefferson back from IR, which is kind of their deep threat, which is what Stafford's been missing all year. Allen Robinson hasn't done anything, and Cooper Kupp's still playing well. So I don't know.
I don't see Rams have been playing well enough to get this. I'm actually surprised it's this close of a matchup point wise. I would expect it to be like a 2.5 to 3 point line is kind of where I would put it, and then I'd look at maybe taking the Rams at a +3, but
probably was until Deebo was listed out.
And so I'm taking 49ers -1. I guess they're going to win by 1 point if they're going to win, so you might as well at least take that.
I'm just staying away. If it was like maybe like plus odds for the Rams. I might throw a little bit on that just because I think this might be the week. It's a division game, division rivals, so they kind of have to.
Yeah.
And, knowing Matt Stafford, hopefully he can be a guy that finally getting his offense healthy, that he can do it. But also with the Rams, there's running back Cam Akers still hasn't been at practice, and he's looking for a trade. So that's something. But I'm just staying away as a whole.
And then we got for the Sunday night game, we got Packers versus Bills. Bills are favored by 11 points right now. I mean, Packers haven't been good, but you would think they got to get something rolling.
I've been saying that every week for the last 3 weeks.
I just can't believe it. Like watching a little bit of the highlights and stuff from the Packers game, it wasn't like, to me, Rodgers isn't playing bad as much as I don't care for him.
He's not playing bad at all, in my opinion.
It was drop balls. There were so many drop passes.
The offensive line is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to throw quickly too. But looking at, like, Rodgers is putting the ball where only the receiver is going to get it, So he's not going to get a interception. But it's like receivers and stuff, you just watch them, they're just sticking their arm out low and try to catch it. They're not like diving, like it's like Rodgers is leading you to the ground because, one, you have a defender on you. He just wants you to catch it and go to the ground. But no, you're trying to make a play and show something that you really shouldn't. So,
yeah, I mean, the Packers are just so many stupid mistakes, and a lot of it's offensively. But I mean,
it is a primetime game, and those seem to bring out some different teams.
That is a lot of points, I'll say that. But this is one where I just can't get myself to take. If I had to choose one, I would be taking the plus 11 just because I always will when it's over 10 points pretty much. And I really like the over here. It's kind of my biggest over-under that I like. I think the Bills can just score whenever. And if A-Rod kind of figures it out, he's going to keep right up with them. I don't think they win, but...
Yeah. I mean, and Packers are in a 3-game losing streak right now, so I don't know.
Some bad losses in there.
I don't know, because we're both kind of high on Giants and Jets.
True. So the Commanders
are about doing one. So I guess I don't. Again, I'm kind of like you. I'm probably going to stay away, but I'm looking at the plus 11 if I was to do something, just because that is a lot of points. It's a primetime game. I feel like Rodgers might do a little bit better even again. Being prime time, he always seems to somehow pull something out. So
they kind of have to, the way the Vikings are looking for the division.
So we'll jump to Bengals versus Browns for the Monday night game at -3 for Bengals. I really don't have a good feel on either one of these teams still.
Jamar Chase is out. It's huge for them.
True.
Really huge. And it's at the Browns in a division rival game. So it's, I don't know. All those things I just said basically makes you think I was going to say the Browns, but I'm not. I'm still going to say the Bengals. I don't know. I'll probably stay away if I had to choose the Bengals.
Yeah. And Bengals, if they win this, they're tied for first place in the division with Baltimore, unless Baltimore gets... Or no, they already got to win this week. So, I think, Bengals if they're wanting to stay in playoff contention, they got to get a win this weekend. So I would take the -3 on Bengals. Over-under. Man, this week I'm just staying away from over-unders.
Yeah, over-unders are interesting this year.
No. I know it's early, but we might as well, since we're releasing this late. Thursday night's game for next week is Eagles versus Texans. Right now it's sitting at only a 9-point game. And I'm kind of surprised. It's only 9. But is this the week that Eagles, being a short week, that they kind of don't play their best when the team that they should destroy?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's probably because it's so early, but I mean, the Eagles are 10.5 favorites over the Steelers this week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of crazy. It is only 9, but I think this line will probably stay around there.
I think it goes up a little bit, maybe to 10.5.
And obviously Eagles win, and I'll probably stay away. But if I had to choose, I'm taking the Eagles as of right now with the -9.
We don't know how they're going to do this weekend or if there's any injuries that happen this weekend. But right now, Yeah, I would have to lean towards that. Like I said, though, it is a short week, and we just said how they're eventually got to have a bad week. So, and could be one of those things that's like, short week. It's the Texans. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL type of deal. Do they get kind of lackadaisical, end up somehow losing? The best team loses to one of the worst teams, type of deal.
Never know.
So, I mean, does Eagles have to match up against
They're NFC, so the only way they'll really play is the Vikings.
True.
I mean, the NFC sucks.
Yeah. I was just trying to think it. Oh, do they have any out of conference NFC games? Like an AFC opponent?
I don't know.
Let's look at their schedule because I'm trying to think. Do they have? Will they even lose a game?
I mean, they got to play the Cowboys again, which will be tough to beat twice.
Yep, and it'll be at Dallas, that one. So, but yeah, they play
They play Giants. Who knows what the Giants will be like?
Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington,
They play the
India, Green Bay.
Giants, play the Giants twice. Real hard to beat them twice.
Yeah, Giants and Dallas, and then Giants again late. So those would be the three toughest games that for me that they could potentially lose. But that'd still be crazy for them to be sitting at what would that be, 14-3 or 13-3 or something like that. 13-3, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at has Buffalo lost yet?
Yeah, they lost to the Chiefs, I believe.
And Chiefs lost to who'd they lose to?
Chiefs lost to
No, Buffalo lost to Miami.
and Buffalo beat the Chiefs.
Yes.
That's right. Because that was like week 2 when Bills and Dolphins played.
Week 3, yep. So, other than that, I'm trying to see who else they would lose to. They do got to play Miami again, which they could get a revenge because that one will be home. Otherwise, Minnesota they might lose to. That'd be another test, I guess. Other than that, I mean, I don't see them having an issue with Green Bay.
I mean,
Jets maybe could be tough. I mean, Jets and then Minnesota back to back could be a week where they may struggle a little. But then I see them beating Cleveland, Detroit, New England. They do got to play Jets later in the year, and then Miami again. What is that division? Like, who's obviously Bills are probably leading that. The AFC East.
I'm not sure.
Let's see if I can go standings. Right now, Buffalo's in first at 5-1. Jets are 5-2. In second, Dolphins are 4-3, and then New England Patriots are in last right now with 3-4.
Well, I know what the crazy letdown kind of is the AFC West. Going into this year, there was the craziest hype around the division of all time with Russell Wilson and the Broncos with Jerry Jeudy and all that. The Raiders with Devontae Adams, the Chargers with Herbert and all them, and then the Chiefs. And it's just a letdown.
Yeah. I mean, Chiefs are about the only one really doing something. I mean,
Chargers are still 4-3. But
yeah. Chargers are almost like going to be one of those silent teams that might still make it in, like kind of wild card spot or something.
Chargers remind me of kind of the Bengals from last year.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to look through the NFC. I think it's crazy to see that Eagles and Giants. Giants are 6-1 and Eagles are 6-0.
Those three teams in the NFC, beside the Vikings, are probably the best three teams. So the NFC East is just stacked.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's normally one of the worst divisions.
Yeah, it has been for a long time.
So
Not
those
for a long time, but
those three teams are very good. And then you got
NFC West has been a letdown. The Niners could really jump off.
Yeah, you would have thought.
Seahawks are leading that division with Geno Smith. I mean, he's playing well, but who would have thought?
Yeah, you would have thought all those teams would be doing a lot better
than the Seahawks. Yeah. Then you have the NFC South, who are all horrible.
Yeah. Well, and really most of the NFC North, which that's normally that kind of way. Well, I guess normally you have a couple that are taking off and a couple that's doing bad. Another one that's not, you would have thought Tennessee, well, AFC South too is another division that you would have thought was a lot better.
Colts are supposed to be one of the best teams.
Colts, Titans, and Jags. I mean, there was still some hype around Trevor Lawrence and stuff of like, oh, he'll be doing better and stuff.
I didn't realize the Jags were only 2-5.
Yeah.
Thought they were closer to 500. Crazy.
Yeah, this has been a crazy year. Just goes to show that you never know what's going to happen in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, well, that's our bets for this week. We haven't been doing very well on our bets that we pick. Heck, for our little challenge, I don't know if I even want to do one anymore.
I'm almost positive mine didn't hit last week. I don't
Mine
remember
didn't.
what it was.
So
maybe we take a week off, come back next week.
We're just not gonna do one. So we'll just we'll just start going back through. I just need to start writing down what we say for each one, and then go back through and see how we do. 'Cause I feel like we're a lot better on what we pick, and then our crazy bets that we try to do at the end.
That's what my problem is. If I would listen to what I say on here, I'd be rich.
Like Austin's been sending me the sheet because he likes that I print off the sheet for him, and then he goes through and fill it out. Like I can tell you what his. Let's see. We'll run through what his picks were.
Because like
for this week,
I normally bet on Sunday right before the games, and I always change my mind than what I say on here. So if I just listen to what I say,
so Austin took Baltimore at -1.5 when the sheet was printed. He took Jags for the -2.5, and he took the over at 39. And then Carolina, he's taking them at +4.5. Dallas and Chicago, he's just taking the under 42. Miami, he's taking them -3, and then the under at 51.5. Probably because Detroit hasn't been scoring shit lately, so he's not touching the Arizona-Minnesota game. He's taking Vegas at -2.5 over New Orleans. He took Jets money line, and then also took the over 40.5. Didn't touch the Eagles Pitt game. Tennessee Titans he took -2.5 and the over at 40.5 over Houston. Washington, he took their money line over Colts.
Wow.
San Francisco Niners, he took the -1.5 over Rams. And Giants, he took money line over Seahawks, which we kind of said that. Green Bay, he's taking the +11 there, and then he takes the -3.5 for Bengals. So yeah, maybe I'll start printing you or sending you this sheet, and you can start filling it out too, and we'll just kind of go off our sheets and see how we do, because I feel like if like I calculated the 1 week, if we would have done everything we said, like I wrote down everything, we all would have been like, I think most of us had about 20. We would have been like 15-5. So it's like we would have ended up making money by doing that versus doing our bets. So, all right. Peace out till next time.